So welcome. We are going to be looking at political culture, public opinion, and political participation. This is going to be a little bit of a start and stop sort of video because I am not of the opinion that everything on here needs to be verbalized. It's some of this is just so common sense, but again, it's on the syllabus. I have to touch on it, and it's just one of those things. So pay attention, please pay attention to where we're starting and stopping, because we will be. And I don't want you to be looking at this whole thing because you don't have to be. So political culture, public opinion, political participation. So political culture, and this is the big definition right off the bat. Political culture refers to the beliefs, values, and habits of mind by which the people of an area, community, or state perceive and understand the world they live in, with particular reference to politics and government. So this is easy to understand. Think of, like if you lived in Texas, it might be a very normal thing for you to be riding down a road in your car and see a guy with a gun rack full of shotguns or something of the like in his truck, in the back of his truck. Now, if you lived in California or here in central and northern Illinois, I mean, that probably wouldn't be something you saw every day. This is political culture. It's how you see the world. Second Amendment, pretty big down in Texas. Something that is less discussed up here, and less, I mean, not less discussed, but less seen. You wouldn't see a guy riding around with his guns in his truck, at least up here. So, this guy called Elazar classified the political culture of the United States. So you have sort of an individualistic culture in the Northeast, New England, Northern Midwest, Northwest, moralistic, Mid-Atlantic, and you don't really need to be worrying about this too much. So public opinion. An opinion, I hope you know, is just one's view, judgment, or appraisal of any particular matter. I think the table I'm sitting at is nice and sturdy. The black coloring of the wood is appealing to me, but I don't like the decoration here at the end of the table. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. Okay, an opinion, in case you didn't know what an opinion was. A public opinion, the collection aggregate of opinions of and attitudes of individuals on a significant issue. Now, what is a significant issue? There's no real clear definition of what a significant issue is. I could bring you all here and you could give me your opinion on this jar of dirt. And we could say the public opinion is that nobody likes it. Okay. So, okay. Opinion and its relation to political culture. So we measure opinion. I get calls every now and again from polling companies wanting to know what I think about the issues of the day. Survey research, it's called. And they'll question me, canvas, pick this option, that option, or the other option. Or do you agree, strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree, or are you neutral? That sort of thing. There are problems with polls, of course. Are decisions made in response to public opinion? The answer is yes, they are. If enough people are upset about something, then there is, or ought to be, action taken. So, we come to elections. I told you we'd fly through this. The purpose or function The essence of a representative democracy is the selection of officials to connect the will of the people to the actions of government. Now, is this done? That's for you to judge, not me. My opinion, now that we've officially defined what an opinion is, in case you didn't know, is no, not really, but it's a question for you to decide. So, there are different types of elections. I'm recording this video on the 5th of November, 2022. There's an election on November the 8th, 2022, where we're going to vote for governor, senator, and a whole bunch of state positions. It's called a midterm election. So it's a partisan election because Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Greens, all the people are running. Midterms occur on off years. So this one's 22, the next one will be 26, the next one after that will be 28. The presidential election is 24. (2024), 2028, yeah, 2032, excuse me, I'm having to do, the brain's frying because I'm having to do some math. So, there are primary elections. Those precede the general elections. And we had the primary elections kind of late this year. But there are two types of primaries. Closed primaries, so only the party's registered voters may vote. You have to select a ballot based on your party affiliation, which may be by registration. In some states, it is not by registration. In Illinois, you walk in, somebody will ask you, an election judge will ask you, would you like a Republican or Democratic ballot? In 5 counties as of 2022, they'll ask you also if you'd like a Libertarian ballot. You pick one of the 3. Or if you don't want to vote for candidates, you'd say, I'll take a nonpartisan ballot, and they'll give you a ballot with just ballot questions, on taxes or other referenda that might be up for debate that year. So open, a primary election in which party members, independents, and other party members are allowed to vote. So Illinois, it's kind of a semi-open. I mean, you can't fill out a Democratic ballot and then say, okay, give me a Republican ballot, and then, okay, give me a Libertarian ballot. Can't do that. You just vote for one slate of candidates. So then the general rolls around. You select the person for the office. It's no longer Republican versus Republican. It's Democratic versus Republican versus Green. And that's that. Now, the right to vote has greatly expanded as voter eligibility has been redefined over the years. We eliminated property qualifications largely by the 1820s. Certainly 30 years after that, by the 1850s, most white males could vote. We took away religious qualifications by the post-revolutionary era. African Americans were denied suffrage, which is the right to vote, for far too long. The 15th Amendment prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, but not on gender. So black men could vote, but women, black, white, Asian, whatever, could still not vote. So after Reconstruction ended, many ways were devised to deny African Americans the right to vote. Now, this was done for a whole lot of nefarious reasons. We won't get into that. But they imposed things such as literacy tests. Okay, can you read? a grandfather clause, poll tax, a white primary. Poll tax you had to pay. Grandfather clause. Could your grandfather vote? Well, no, my grandfather was a slave. Okay, you're out of luck. So, I mean, just bad stuff was going on. After the Reconstruction, Northern troops were removed from the South, the military governors, all that. They were reinstituting a civilian government in the former Confederacy. African Americans were no longer protected in their right to vote. And they were stopped, or attempted to be stopped, through intimidation, violence, lynching, economic sanctions, all sorts of stuff. And the Voting Rights Act of 65, so they had to wait far too long, enacted during the Civil Rights Movement, addressed these problems. African American voting increased exponentially. The Voting Rights Act, that's VRA, eliminated the literacy tests, and they had guaranteed registration through the presence of federal registrars. Now, were white people in the South still particularly happy about this? No, but there was nothing they could do. It was the law of the land at that point. And the Voting Rights Act has been amended several times and covers just about every other minority group: Hispanics, Native Americans, Inuits, you name it. We've talked about gerrymandering. Women's suffrage. Women's suffrage was also addressed in the post-Civil War era. By 1910, they had the right to vote in 14 states, not at the national level. That didn't come along until 1920. The 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18. That happened in 1971. And that's pretty much where we are today. Passage of the 26th Amendment. Everybody 18 and up can vote. You can vote in a primary at age 17 too, if you're going to be 18 by the general election. So who can't vote? Several states say if you have a felony conviction, you can't vote even if you've been released from prison. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote. If you have a mental incapacity, you can't vote. Some states say this. And if you don't meet the residency requirement, you can't vote. So, the hard and fast, that's a hard and fast rule there. You have to live in Illinois, in your district, for 30 days prior to an election. That's just the way it is. That's the law. Should non-citizens have a vote? Should people with mental incapacities have a vote? So we don't need to go through this. So why don't people vote? Okay, they're not interested in politics. People say that to me. I say, well, you might not be interested in politics and politicians, but politicians and politics, they're very interested in you. Want your money, want to control you, want all sorts of things. They see no difference between the candidates, the lesser of two evils arguments. So I just got to go pick one. They don't like the candidates. Can't say that I blame them. Or you're not registered. If you're not registered, you're also not in the jury selection pool. So you're not going to get called for jury duty, more than likely. Just in case you didn't know that one. If you don't vote, if you're sick, you're working, it's inconvenient, you're not a citizen, you're a new resident, you're out of town, you have transportation problems, all sorts of things would keep you from getting to the voting booth. Now remember, also November 8th, again, 2022, I don't know how long I'm going to use this video. November 8th, 2022 is a holiday. The college is closed. You are to go vote on that day. That is election day. That is the purpose of the holiday anyway. I'm not telling you to go vote. Vote if you want to. You provide symbolic reassurance to the people through elections and assure the people that government is legitimate. It's the government you vote for. It's the people who you check the box that get into power. All right. We've talked about that. Okay. See, I told you that was going to be quick. That was all we needed to do. That was all we needed to discuss. So you're just responsible for what was in that video. Now I will tell you, constitutional amendments, always make it onto tests. So make sure you know those. So pretty fast, 65 slides. But that is it. You're just responsible for those slides I just went over. And that's it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about what was just discussed, email me. If not, have a great week.